Hi, I'm Vinny.
Hello, I'm Alex, and welcome back to Pro Car Show.
And today we are going through 10 things to look out for when buying the Golf Mk7 R. Number one to check out for, look out for tyres. Ideally you want to make sure that the tyres get changed in pairs on the same axle with the same make and model tyre. The reason for this... Oh, sorry.
No, carry on. I was about to say, why? Tell me.
The reason for this is 4 mil. Was it 4 mil? 4 millimeter. There can't be any more than 4 millimeter difference. But even a smaller amount can throw up error codes, traction control flashing up, cutting your power, ABS lights.
Yep. And
it can cause severe wear to the diff. So I mean, the tyres and stuff, you know, they're not cheap anyway. These are 18 inches on this model. Some of the models do have 19 inches, but I believe that was on the 7.5. I could be wrong. I don't know if you would know any more about that. No, he won't know. No, he drives a diesel. Yeah, so just make sure when you go and look at one, check the tyres, that if the fronts are different to the rears, just make sure that they're the same on the axle. They can be different, but like I said, you will get issues, especially with the traction control, which on a performance car you're not going to want to be racing from each lights and it cutting the power on you. No. Alex can tell us more about that in another video in his Passat, which he had exactly the same issue.
Well, we also do have a video on tyres, and that is lightly explained on the reasons why can only be 4 millimeters difference circumference on the same axle. So follow the link in the description and you will see the reasons why.
There's a new fancy pop-out thing now. If you look to the right of your screen there.
Right. Which side's the right?
The right.
Oh, that's the right.
That's the right.
We'll go with that's
it's
right.
My left, it's your right. If you follow that little square, it'll take you to the video explaining the different tyres and things like that. On to the next one. So now we're going to be getting on to the gearbox.
Yes, so the gearbox is a DQ250. So therefore it's not the same in the Mark 7.5, but all the DSGs all follow the same service. It's very similar service intervals. This one has to be serviced every 40,000 miles. The reasons being is because the mechatronics in the box are like solenoids, and they channel oil with an oil pump through all these little tight crevices and bits and bobs, and problem is having stodgy oil in there is going to cause problems. And
also if oil does get dirty, it actually starts burning. You know, it starts burning onto things like the crap in there.
And then the thing is, it attaches itself. I mean, the DSG does have big metals, big magnets in the bottom of the pan, just below the mechatronics, and that can catch bits and chunks and stuff. I mean, if you've got chunks, you've got problems. I'd avoid that. But obviously you won't know this when buying the car, but the biggest way to find things out like that is a full service history on it, and preferably look for one that's been religiously serviced at 40,000 miles or less.
It's a good negotiating point though, because realistically, if it hasn't been done, then you know you can leeway on the price with the seller.
Yes, because the DSGs in most vag cars are very sensitive because of the filters and how highly spec and tight tolerances they have. You've got to remember there's two clutches in there. They're giving out a lot of fibres when they wear, so you think the oil is always contaminating bits and it will clog things up. So make sure that it is serviced religiously, otherwise you're asking for troubles. If it's gone an extra 20,000 miles, I would try and avoid that car, especially.
Yeah, you're going to be looking at
especially if you do have problems down the line with either slippage or clunky gears. That can't always be sorted out with just a remap.
Yeah. Cool.
Right, so moving on to number 3.
So number 3, we've got the Haldex. Now, this exact vehicle, actually, on the test drive, this was bought from a dealership. The Haldex wasn't working at all.
Oh, it wasn't?
No. So it is crucial that if you want the performance, you want the enjoyment, you get it working, or with it working. It can be as simple as a pump, or I would say 90% of the time it is just the pump. but it's still very frustrating because, you know, unless you've got OBD11 or was it Vagcom
or a Carist or anything that can really go in deep.
I don't
Carist
believe.
or not?
No, I only believe it's OBD11 and Vagcom that you can do it, or V-Dub if you take it into them. But it's crucial that when you test drive it, give it a bit of hard acceleration. Now, if you get any wheel spin from the front wheels, it's not working properly, and if you just get loads of smoke from the front tyres, it's not working at all. Again, you know, the pump kits can be bought on eBay for fairly cheap if you're good at that sort of thing.
Yeah, Warburner, £250 for the pump itself.
Yeah,
you can also code it via OBD11 Pro.
Yeah, which is handy. But
which we also will do a review on the OBD11.
Yep, and you can attach it to your keys. I've got mine attached to my keys, so I'll never forget it. Driving one of these, engine management light pings on, you never know.
Standard.
Right, number 4. So number 4 is coolant leaks. Now, these are getting on a bit now. The first models come out in 2014. It's going to be putting them at 8 years old now. So you want to check for any water loss, any drips under the car, minus the air conditioning. Make sure the air conditioning's off, because you do get drips from the condenser. But mainly you're going to be looking around the water pump.
It's very hard to find, I say very hard, it can be missed when finding a coolant leak on the Vag cars because of how much under tray is actually underneath the car.
I'm sorry, it's insulting me that you're calling it a Vag.
Vag, all right.
Vag.
Volkswagen group. All right, okay. Well, so on the under trays, there's lots of plastic, and it can hold the coolant, and you don't normally get patches on the floor. Most of the time when you start off the drive and you go up the road 40 miles an hour, that's when it runs out. I had an issue on a CC, had a water pump that went earlier than it was meant to go. It was meant to do every 5 years, and it went after like 3 years at 33,000 miles, which is a bit short of VW's 50 or 60,000 miles at the time. That left no evidence of coolant. A litre a day, no evidence. What it was, it just sat on the engine, on the under tray, and it was only when I was doing about 40 it all disappeared. So watch out for that. Maybe under the car, just give it a tap. It won't be hot because it's plastic. Just give it a tap and see if there's any coolant dripping.
Cool.
Moving on to number 5.
Number 5. So number 5 is a nice short one, and I can't stress enough that this is really hard to tell. Oil. Now, these engines have been known to have a thirst for oil. The consumption can be rather high, and it's usually down to how it's been running. How it's running,
how it was driven, how hard of a life it's had, really. That's what you're really looking for. Any, general wear and tear. Well, it's not just general, is it? It could be harsh wear and tear at a time, if you think of how badly it was running, or how hard of a life it's had. It can consume from half a litre to a litre every 1,000 miles. Would you be able to say if you've been drinking any oil? I mean, you did have an oil problem.
Yeah, this did have an oil problem, and it turned out to be the seals on the oil cap. It had an oil leak. Again, with the under trays fitted, you really couldn't tell. Wouldn't even know.
But at least yours was a cheap fix at the end of the day.
Exactly.
Could have been worse. Could have been that main seal. And I don't really think anyone wants a main seal going. They're quite expensive.
Yeah. I wouldn't like my main seal going.
Oh no, I had that last weekend. So.
Yeah, so it's one thing to look out for. Again, if you're buying it from a reputable dealer, if you're getting it on finance, the likes of that, you get a 6-month warranty as standard. So check your oil, keep an eye out in between top-ups. But if you're buying it privately, obviously it's very difficult. You tend to never see these people again, or they just say, sorry mate, sold as seen, which is awkward. So just be mindful, because they've got a soft limiter, you can't rev them on the spot. Maybe ask the owner if he can drive it up the road and give it some throttle, so you can see if there's any smoke when he accelerates or lifts off. If there's smoke, then it could either be turbo, valve stem, oil seals. It could be a number of things. So equally, I'd walk away from something like that unless the price, you could really factor in a new engine on that.
I doubt you'll be able to factor it. I mean, you'd be lucky if you could get 5 grand off, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
I mean, if I could do that, I'd be doing that left, right and centre.
Well, yeah, we do. Yeah, he's getting dodgy now, isn't he? So, moving on.
Yep.
Now, number 6 is window switches. This really does apply just to the driver's side. The actual panel, you find that the bits of the switches break and it leaves a really sharp, horrible edge. This is very common across the VWs of this year, even the Passats, anything like that. They just break on the end, it's sharp, it's uncomfortable.
Yep.
It can be quite frustrating, and if you run your arm back, you're gonna catch your t-shirt or t-shirt,
yep,
jumper, something like that on it, which is going to tear, it's going to annoy you, it's going to be frustrating.
Or even when cleaning, you're trying to wipe that surface down, I'm always getting the cloth snagged on it.
Yeah.
Or if you do it too hard and you forget, it can almost prick your finger.
Yeah.
It is quite sharp. The part is fairly cheap, it's probably the labour. I haven't really gone into depth about fitting it.
It's not something, it's, you know, for me, if you're going out and buying
you want it
car,
to be working all, no
and
worries.
It's not something that you immediately check. I mean, the amount of times I've gone out and bought a car and I think to myself, blimey, you know, you don't check the washer fluid.
Yep.
If it's not raining, you don't check if the wipers are working. You know, you don't check a lot of these things that you should. And I've been
one to it. You know, I've gone there, I've looked around it, I've started it up, I took it down the road, didn't really test out anything, and then got back and realised the passenger window didn't even work. That was brilliant.
That's brilliant. I bought a dodgy
that was on
Polo
an Alfa Romeo dodgy
Polo.
Got it for 40 quid.
No,
bargain.
It was more than that. It was more than that. So, moving on to the next one. So, moving on to number 7. Now, number 7 is the badge camera. If you're lucky enough to have it, I do think it was an optional extra, but some people can have them installed separately. There's companies online that do a hard wiring kit for them.
Yep.
But if you've got it, you'll know, because when you put it into reverse, you'll get on the screen, it will come up like it should be a camera, like a picture. If it's showing completely black, then the rear camera's not working or the badge isn't operating. So check that, make sure it opens up smoothly. As you can see in the video now, it should open up smoothly, close smoothly, and not make any funky noises. Moving on, that's all there is to say about that one.
Yep, not much. Right, and now number 8, which is the rear brakes. If you come across very badly scored rear discs, check the pads to see if they're low. You can see in there with a flashlight on your phone. That can also be a problem with the calipers themselves, as they are electrically done by a little motor. If the motor is sticking, then it could mean that it is grinding all the time you're driving. Which is new calipers. Which, yes, there is no rebuild. A VW dealership will not rebuild them, they will just replace the caliper. If I remember rightly, the price was around about $520 for a rear caliper. Can be found cheaper at Euros. Yeah, I know, but it again has to be coded in and all set up. With all these newer cars now, everything's got to be coded, so or reset, calibrated, which is a bit of a pain.
OBD11.
OBD11, yeah. Shout out OBD11.
OBD11. Right, number 9 then. So, number 9. Now, this is a funky one again. I couldn't care less about it.
But I was picky.
But him,
picky.
He can.
I'm picky.
So
I'll pick you up on anything.
Yeah. So
even you're picking your nose.
So this one is cup holders.
Yep.
And on these, as you can see, they've got spring action on them. And if these go, they actually don't hold your drink securely anymore. So when you go around the corner, you end up with a wet lap, or your coffee ends up on the passenger seat or on the floor.
Or you do a launch and your kid's got a monster in the face.
Basically, it only really matters, in my opinion, if you're driving like a cock. And he is a cock. But, you know, if it does matter to you, then it is going to be one of them things. It does need the whole centre console replacing. Yep. No, not replacing. Just removed, and then the actual cup holder is replaced. Oh. Problem is, it's just labour intensive. All right, yes, labour intensive. So you've got to take all that out, remove, and it's going to cost you a bit of money. So if it does bother you, just factor that into the price. Have a look. You know, just know what you're up against. Yep. And moving on to the final one. Yep, final one. Number 10. Yep. And number 10
is back down to gearboxes. Seem to have missed it further up the line. Obviously we didn't look at it as a very important one until the last minute.
Yeah,
so
we're looking at a DSG model here.
Yeah, that's because we're looking at DSG model. But you can also buy these Golf Rs in manual. If they have done, I would have recommended, you know, if you were looking at one between 60, 80,000 miles, I would be looking at clutch wear. And the easiest way to do that is to put it into fourth at around about 2,000 RPMs. Just put your foot down hard. If you feel the revs climb and you're not actually going anywhere, that suggests to me that the clutch is on its way out.
But let me get, if you're not used to slipping clutches, now on a slipping clutch, when cars go like through the river, now I've never driven one of these in manual, so I can't tell you, but I know that the majority of cars in fourth gear, the revs stay pretty equal up to a point. Now what you're looking for is when you put your foot down, you want to watch the rev counter doesn't jump and then come back down slightly, and that again, that is indicating it's starting to slip. So a slip might not always be in your face, but just watch the revs climb, and if they do climb and you know they go up and then go back down while the car's still accelerating, you've got a clutch problem.
Yeah. And that is it for today. I would like to give a shout out to alloywheelbase.co.uk. They supplied me some Bowler 17s and they were great, perfect condition. And they also recommended a sport summer tyre, which was also perfect for the summer. We do have a discount code which can be found by following the link in the description below. That is REF25, and you'll get £25 off of each order. So thank you, Alloy Wheelbase, for giving us discount codes. Lovely.
Now, thank you for watching this video. We do this in our spare time. You know, you might think we're a pair of dickheads or what, but we like to try and make informative videos that we feel, you know, we wish we had. Now we're going to be trying releasing a video every Sunday, maybe two, for different things. We're going to start throwing in some funny ones, so if you like it, give us a like, give us, you know, subscribe, and if you didn't like it, now instead of being horrible or anything like that, just tell us why. Just, you know, give us some feedback. We've never been to acting school. No. We are two friends that are fat.
Just enjoy cars and like eating food.
We're fat, yeah. We play Xbox. We play Xbox and stuff as well. We're crap at that. But yeah, realistically, we just want to make informative videos that could help you, you know, make informed decisions when buying a car. You know, look out what to look out for when you're going to get one. So,
and if there's anything you want to see, then put it in the comments, and we'll try and do our best to accommodate for what you want. At the end of the day, we are here to try and help you guys out. So just like, subscribe, comment away, and we will do our best to respond to all your comments.
Thanks for watching.
So, thanks for watching.